would you say would be an example of just, you know, a bad experience that you've had, right? As a business owner, as a supplier, what has been really the worst, so to speak, that you've had happen? And you know, did you see it coming? Was it something that was a shock? How did it get to that point?
I can recall a couple of cases like this, but oddly enough, like my example that I would be willing to share now is not about the biggest client of our, not about the richest client of ours. It's just about the client who stepped into this relationship without as a supplier without clear understanding why they do it.
Hmm.
It was a company from, that doesn't matter where they're from. It was quite a big company that had a product, and they decided, I still cannot understand why they decided to go nearshore. Probably because of the cost, I would suppose, but it wasn't even the case because the company is well funded, and no, they didn't need it as much, I would say. They did a big job in searching for the potential vendors. They chose us. They were very right, so to say, at the disengagement part when we were ensuring that this is a right client for our developers. This is a right client to be running the long-lasting relationship and things like that. But then when the job actually started, when the team was provided, well, some weird things started happening. So there was lack of communication, there was lack of feedback, there was no direction given to the actual team of ours, there was no attention to important things to us as a vendor and to the development team whom we hired for them. So it was just a weird understanding by our side, of course, that like, we are somehow already in this relationship with this client. We are willing to help, but we are not being heard. We are not being allowed to be talking on these matters, to be advising something that, well, would be very much important for the client to actually survive or like to be successful with this remote team. It all lasted for like maybe 5 months
Yeah.
when they literally we were paying for like service that they were not receiving in full because like whatever we were telling, it wasn't heard. Whatever we were sending, it wasn't read. Whatever we were asking wasn't followed up. 4 or 5 months has passed, like maybe somewhere in between. They had to cut the team. They had to cut relationship with us, and they left unhappy just because they said like we were expecting something else. We are very much upfront honest with what we are providing, how this works, and what kind of time investment it requires. Not speaking of financial investments.
Yeah.
We were, I think, very much transparent, but well, it wasn't taken this way, unfortunately. Maybe due to some gaps on our side as well. I don't know. Like, I'm biased. I was on one of the sides, right? But probably that was the case that I would be just giving here, stressing out that it is very much important to any vendor who wants to do their job good to be in the full communication, in full trust mode with the client of theirs. And this is what we are trying to make with every client of ours as well, of course.